Well, welcome back. And now we're going to be discussing the NBA video. Going to be previewing the second round matchups, maybe a quick recap of the first round. But I know I'm very excited about this NBA playoff so far. Can't believe it's already the second round. Time's flying, I guess, when you're enjoying some nice hoops. But with that being said, I guess, Nick, what series do you want to preview first?
You know what? I'll save the Timberwolves and the Celtics ones for later. So how about we just look into the Knicks Pacers, because that's the first game on. That's the first series
today. When we do our off-season recaps, obviously the 76ers are going to be a topic because they're an interesting team. But man, that Knicks Sixers series was something special. All 6 games came down to the wire. We saw epic comebacks, epic chokes from both teams. The Sixers in game 2. Off a controversial call from the refs that wasn't called. And the Knicks looked like they had game 5 wrapped up before the Sixers came storming back. But Jalen Brunson, I think games 3 through 6 had 40 plus each game. Man, he's turning into a superstar, and it's going to be a good debate whether or not him or Tatum earns first All NBA. That last spot's still up for grabs. Now that it's positionless basketball, or 5 centers could be on All NBA first team if it was like that. But that'll be interesting. But man, he's turned into a star. The Pacers upset the Bucks. Milwaukee was injured without Giannis for all 6 games. Damian Lillard missed 1 game, but disappointing season for the Bucks. That will be a hot topic to talk about this offseason, I bet. But should be an exciting one. If you want to start with the predictions, though, because
yeah, I mean, like you just said, I was fully expecting going into the playoffs or going into that series, the Bucks to take it. I didn't think the Pacers really. I know the Pacers are competitive. I've watched them as a Celtics fan play the Celtics, and they've competed every single time they played them. But guys like Miles Turner, and I think Halliburton's a game time decision tonight.
Ooh.
That could be big for them if he's not playing. But I think this series is going to the Knicks. I think the Knicks might have it in 6.
Yeah.
Maybe 7, just because, the Pacers compete. They're fighting. But with how Brunson's playing right now, I can't see the Pacers stopping him.
Yeah, I think if Tyrese Halliburton was like he was the first 2 months of the season, where he was just making everything, he's still obviously a great passer, but his scoring was really elite, and people were ready to declare him a top 10 player in the NBA before his shooting slump. And he's still a good player, but if he needs to be hitting his shots if the Pacers want to have any chance of upsetting this Knicks team. The Knicks just play with so much heart. They got the right balance. They have a superstar player that elevates in the playoffs, which is a huge thing that you need. They play hard on defense. They swarm players like Josh Hart, Dante DiVincenzo. And they just got a lot of options off the bench. Deuce McBride has been kind of a great breakout player for them, scorer. And obviously Tom Thibodeau has that playoff experience coaching Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler. But Indiana's high-flying offense could allow them to win a game or 2, but I don't see the series going more than 6. I think the Knicks are just the better team all around, and Indiana just doesn't have the defense to guard Brunson. I don't think. It's just it's weird. I'm really surprised the Pacers even won their first round matchup. I mean, their offense is electric, but it's going to be too tough, I think, especially with home court advantage for the New York Knicks in the series.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the Bucks were hurt. I'm pretty sure Dame, what was it, an Achilles that he was kind of dealing with, and Giannis was dealing with that sort of stuff. So, I mean, it's good for the Pacers. It's good for them to get through the first round. They can definitely build on it, but I can't see them making it by the Knicks.
Yeah, no. If the Knicks, hopefully not. Obviously, an injury could happen and things could change, but it's just I don't see the way Jalen Brunson's playing how the Pacers can keep up. And then, the Knicks still play hard defense. They're always grabbing. A big key to their win over the Sixers was just grabbing offensive boards, even though their starters play it's 45 minutes almost. They barely get any rest. They're probably the most well-conditioned team I've ever known. They play so hard. So yeah, I mean, Indiana could make it interesting. This is probably one of the lesser entertaining series, in my opinion. I think it'll
Yeah.
be good, like high scoring wise, maybe. But I'm gonna roll with the Knicks here in 5 games. I think.
Yeah. Something big I see when I watch the Knicks is like you just said, they're role players. Like, I mean, guys like Josh Hart, who are just hustling every play, making every big play, it seems. Him, Dante DiVincenzo, he hit that game winner early
they're
on.
so close. Like
Yeah.
they're big. I think all 3 of those players went to Villanova. They have their own podcast together too. I think it's called like the Nova Boys or something. But they're a tight team. They got that close bond. So yeah, I'm riding with the Knicks here. Good for you, New York, to get back on the map. And pretty soon, I think we're gonna have a discussion: is Brunson better than Melo, New York, all time, the way he's performing at this level, in my opinion?
Could be it depends on how far he takes him, but he's definitely on track.
Yeah, no, just a great first round after struggling the first 2 games. But unless there's anything else you want to cover on this, I think we can move on.
No, I think, like you said, it's probably not going to be a really entertaining series. I think the Pacers might take a game or 2 just going back home. I can't see them winning in New York with that crowd. Like, it's just too much.
Second series I want to talk about that I think is going to be interesting. May differ opinions on. We got the Mavericks, who defeated the Clippers in 6 games. Obviously, Kawhi Leonard was out most of this series. He did play a couple games, but just did not look like himself with that knee inflammation. The Thunder versus the Thunder. The Thunder, obviously top seed in the West, won it by 1 game against the Nuggets. 1 game against the Nuggets and Timberwolves, or had the tiebreaker at least. That the top of the West was so close, but Thunder got the top seed. Dispatched the Pelicans in 4 games. Wasn't ever a series, obviously. No Zion, which kind of could have made a difference in the series because some of the games were close, but OKC just kind of blew them out. I guess I'll start with my opinion first on this one, and then you can go. I think this is going to be a long series. You have the superstars in the series on both sides. You got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and not a superstar, but can be on that trajectory. J-Dub, Jalen Williams for the Thunder. They just have a close team. They're always, after post games, like I think their new thing is like to bark. So they're always barking at the camera. They're a young squad though, and I think that's kind of where this difference is going to come in. They're a very mature squad, but I'm going to trust Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving in the clutch. I think that'll make the huge difference in this, and I think Dallas will have the ability to steal one on the road because I think this is going to go 7 games. And I think Dallas will win just because I trust their experience of Luka because he's been the year before. He upset the 64-win Suns with Chris Paul and Devin Booker in the second round in a Game 7, even though they were down 0-2, 3-2. And Kyrie Irving's been playing arguably the best ball of his career now, just straight up hooping. The X factors are going to be PJ Washington, the role players of Dallas. Can they hit their shots? Daniel Gafford do their thing because OKC's going to do their thing. But I'm just going to lean the experience here and go with a little upset in the Mavericks in 7 here.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it going either way. Like this series, I think might be this one or the Nuggets Timberwolves is my toughest prediction. But I'm rocking with the Thunder. I know they're young. I get it, but they're so talented offensively and defensively. I mean, Chet played a lot better than I thought he would. I'm not gonna lie, I was one of the Chet hater when he was coming in.
I think his matchup was Valanciunas, though. I really don't know how much you take away in that. They were just killing him in the pick and roll because Valanciunas, all he does is just drop and sits there like a parking cone. So obviously Chet was able to make free eats of that. But I see your point. I mean, the Thunder got so much depth that isn't talked about. You got like shooters and defenders like Cason Wallace, Isaiah Joe. But I think one of the biggest problems here is I think Josh Giddey I don't think he's a good player at all. And I'm surprised he still even starts for them because I don't think he's that good. And I know the controversy around him, but something about it, man. Like, I just feel like this series is going to be back and forth. Shai's going to get his own, but Luka's going to get his own and Kyrie. I think the X factor is going to be Lou Dort is already obviously a great defender for the Thunder, but it's going to be that second defender. Like if it's a Jalen Williams, can they guard Kyrie or Luka? And that's what's going to come down to, man. But I think this is going to be a great series.
I do too. Like I'm very excited to watch this series. Luka's a playoff riser. Kyrie's a playoff riser. So I can easily see them, if it goes 7, I can easily see them taking Game 7 like they did against the Suns a few years ago. Like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna. This is not a surefire pick at all. I'm just going with the Thunder because I think they've been rolling more. I think they're less, I want to say, streaky than the Mavericks. I feel like sometimes the Mavericks can get cold. And they do not look good. But
they were down. It was at points like 31 to the Clippers without Kawhi. Like there was some ugly basketball, but then you saw the highs. They kind of buried them the last 2 games. Did what they needed to do. But I would say the biggest advantage the Thunder have in the series is with the head coaching matchup. Mark Daigneault, Coach of the Year. Jason Kidd, I still don't think is that good of a coach. He kind of he wasn't a good coach. I think he was with the Bucks. Couldn't even make Giannis work. Made them like a 7 seed. And I question some of his philosophies. So I think the Thunder, if there was a huge advantage, it's not even on the court. I think it's off the court with that matchup. But either way, the series is going to be so good. There's lots of talent in the series. Yeah. And the Thunder are no chokers like the Suns, so they're not going to get blown out by like 40 points in that game, infamous Game 7 from a couple of years ago. But, I'm excited to watch the series. I think it will be some good hoops.
Definitely.
In a battle of MVP candidates in Luka Doncic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but I don't think either of them will actually end up winning. I think they'll go to the Jokic. With that being said, I think we should get into your team.
Okay.
I think we got Boston Celtics Cavaliers. Cavaliers just ending their first round matchup yesterday against the feisty Orlando Magic. Magic, man, they got a bright future. They'll be exciting offseason to talk about. That went 7 games, though, but obviously it proved Donovan Mitchell just willed his team to a win. I think he had 50 points, even though they lost in Game 6. He had over half the team's points and had all their points in the fourth quarter. He just wants to win, man. And his early years in Utah, he was a playoff riser. He kind of disappeared the last 2, but he showed up again this time. And now Cleveland moves on to the second round to face the Celtics, who weren't really tested in that Heat series without Jimmy Butler. And just kind of, it wasn't Miami's year. They weren't going to make that 8th seed finals run again. And the Celtics were just better. Derek White, arguably the MVP of that series, actually was just amazing shooting the ball.
He was.
Miami was able to get one off of like a historic shooting night, but it wasn't really anything sustainable. So Celtics moved on pretty quickly in 5. But with that being said, who do you think wins this series? And kind of give your breakdown from a Celtics perspective.
I see the Celtics in 6. I think it's going to be much more competitive than the Heat series. The only reason Game 2 was competitive is because Miami. What did Miami hit? Like 20-something threes.
It was like 22 threes, 23 threes. It was the most ever in franchise history.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure even that game, the Celtics lost by like 10 points or something. Like it's not like they got blown off the court.
Yeah, it was very competitive.
But yeah, when I was watching the Orlando Cavs series, both of the teams scared me because Orlando, even when they weren't that good, gave the Celtics issues. I'm pretty sure it was last year or the year before. I think they beat the Celtics every time they played them in the regular season. And this year, I mean, Blanchero went kind of crazy in that last game. But I'm also very scared of Mitchell. Like you just said, he willed his team to win that series. So I think he can definitely do that. But I think the Celtics are just too complete of a team to lose that series overall. Like they have too many weapons they can go to. If Cleveland looks to take away Tatum, they'll go to Brown and Derek White. If they look to take away Derek White because he just had a crazy series, they're going to look back to Tatum, and Tatum will have, 30 points.
Yeah, no. Just to touch on Donovan Mitchell real quick, it was great to see him be able to do this for Cleveland to get out of the first round because there was some controversy when they traded for him 2 years ago. Was he ever want to be in Cleveland? There's always that rumors that he still wants to go to the Knicks, and he hasn't signed a contract extension, so that's kind of up in the air. But I just saw him even yesterday when they were down like 20 points. It was early, and he just kept willing his team back. So I think he showed what he can do if he's just locked in 100% with this team, and he should be because this is a really talented team.
Mm-hmm.
I do agree with the prediction, though, in Celtics in 6. I think this is going to be a Boston series. The biggest question mark is no Porzingis, I believe, for most of the series at least. We'll see how Jared Allen is for the Cavs because he's a big X factor. But why I think this series could be closer than a lot of people think is I think the Cavs don't need to double team Tatum. And because Evan Mobley is one of the best defenders in the league, just straight up. He's a blocks machine. He can defend out on the perimeter, inside. Has gotten Defensive Player of the Year votes before. If you throw him on Tatum, I think Tatum's going to have a difficult time. And it's going to come down to can Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday get going? Because no Porzingis, you won't be able to get him going. Even then, Jared Allen is still really good. Mm-hmm. So I think it's just going to come down to can those players show up, and I think it will be. But I could see a couple games where the shots just aren't falling for the Celtics because the Cavs just play tremendous team defense. But the Cavaliers had their own offensive problems too, and the Celtics obviously a great defensive team. But I think this is going to be a scrappy series, and I think it's going to be low scoring a lot of the time, and that's how the Cavs like it. But the Celtics can win in multiples of ways just because they're so complete of a team. And they can just get someone going like Derek White or Drew Holiday. Maybe he has a 20-point game to kind of win some games. I think this is just going to be a team effort, but it's going to be a lot closer series. This isn't going to be felt like they were up every game on the Heat by 30 at half.
And the Heat series, although it didn't really show it on the scoreboard, it was pretty scrappy. Miami was playing very physical with the Celtics every game, and I think it kind of affected Tatum a little bit. He wasn't scoring at will, kind of like he usually does, where he's putting up maybe 25, 30 a game. But what he was doing was getting rid of the rock. If he goes down and they double him, he kicked it out to Derek White for 3. I think didn't he have a triple double first game of the series? It was his first or second career playoff triple double. So I think he's learning to use the guys around him more so than in the past.
Eventually, the Celtics will need him, maybe, whether that's the next series down the line or this series at some point. He's just going to need to, be able to score that 30 points. But, yeah, they didn't need him really much in this first series. Just kind of decoy, do his thing, 20 points or whatever, get some rebounds, dish it out. So, yeah, we're kind of both on the same page of that series. And then finally, the last series, the most controversial one probably, the defending champion Nuggets, the 2 seed. The young, hungry, gutsy Minnesota Timberwolves, the 3 seed. This series has actually been the first series to get underway with the Timberwolves winning game 1 in an effort of Anthony Edwards with 43 points. Nikola Jokic did his thing. I guess I'll start with you first on where you think the series goes and how far.
Well, with how good both teams are, I can't see it not going 7. I think it does go 7. I think it's so tough. Going into the series, I was saying Nuggets. I was saying the Nuggets were probably going to take it in 6. But now that I've watched game 1 and saw what Ant did against such a high caliber team, I'm probably going to say Nuggets in 7. I think the Timberwolves are going to put up a great fight. It's going to be a great series. It's probably going to be my favorite series to watch, even though the Celtics are playing, but I love watching Ant Edwards, man. I mean, he's a playoff riser. He's a young stud who, if whoever comes out of this series, I think comes out of the West.
Yeah, no, I think that too. Obviously, as a Timberwolves fan, I've never experienced this. Even if you were to ask me the best Minnesota athlete, I would say it's between him or Justin Jefferson. I've never been able to experience this kind of performances. Just the way he was able to close out the Suns, because keep in mind the Suns were favored heading into that series, and it was a sweep. And the Nuggets they're a great team, Jokic, but the couple question marks, Jamal Murray's injury is still kind of nagging him. His efficiency hasn't quite been there. And the Nuggets really played with their food in that Lakers series. They came out of the series 4-1, still gentleman sweep. That's how good they are in crunch time. Yeah. But they play with their food too much, and I think they're not as deep as they were last year. When you have players like Jeff Green and Bruce Brown coming off the bench, it's going to be tough. And when these two teams matched up last year, it was a 4-1 but it was a competitive series, almost like this Lakers series. Besides Game 1, which was a blowout, all the games were really close, and I think this series is just going to come down to Anthony Edwards versus Jokic in crunch time. But the depth advantage here, I think, is crucial for the Timberwolves. As we saw in Game 1, Naz Reid was able, once Cat was in foul trouble, Naz Reid was able to score 14 points alone in the fourth. Sixth man of the year there. You're able to rely on those guys, and you're not going to be able to stop Jokic, but you just want to make him work for it, and you want to just throw bodies at him. Karl Anthony Towns is probably honestly their best defender on him, just because of the weight. Because Rudy Gobert, even though he's the defensive player of the year, he's better off helping with the double team and leaving Aaron Gordon open. Because make Aaron Gordon beat you from the perimeter. If that happens, so be it. It's gonna happen. But being able to see what Anthony Edwards has done this playoff so far, it's just been awesome to watch. And just the veteran leadership of Mike Conley, not panicking and being able to knock down a couple jumpers was crucial in this one to give us that 10-point lead late into the game. I'm gonna rock with the Timberwolves in this series. Obviously, as a fan, I gotta pick them. And I think whoever wins this series is going to the finals. And I want to say most likely winning it. I don't know. I'm curious how the Celtics do match up against the teams in the West. But I think it's unfortunate that's a 2-3 matchup because I think these are the two better teams in the West. No disrespect to the Thunder. But I'm just excited to watch it. It's going to be a scrappy series. I'm going to go 7 games. And I'm going to go with the Timberwolves to win it ultimately in Denver. I know Game 2's tonight. Timberwolves are kind of playing with house money right now, though. They won Game 1. They stole home court. Just kind of go out there. If you can win this, I mean, that'd be awesome going up 2-0. But I think Denver will win this one tonight, and I think they got it. They're going to play with more desperation. You just got to be ready to take that punch and just be able to fight back and make this a game. So I'm excited to watch the series. I think it's players full of scrap, superstars all over the place, and obviously Timberwolves' number 1 defense has given players like Jokic, Murray, only 1 game, but made them work for it. And Katie and Booker and Bradley Beal were all rattled in that first round, as we saw. So I'm excited to watch this series.
Yep, me too. I mean, you made a great point that the Nuggets played with their food too much in that first series, and you can't do that against the Timberwolves. They're gonna make you pay. They're not gonna give up those leads like the Lakers did. Well, I saw the stat that the Nuggets led for a total of 40 in-game minutes the entire series.
Lakers were leading for 75% of the series.
Yeah, and if you do that against the Timberwolves, you're probably losing in 6.
Yeah,
they're not going to give up. They're too good defensively. They're too good offensively. I just can't see it.
I trust Michael Jordan in the clutch to hit the shots from that. Just giving me flashbacks, even though I wasn't around for the Michael Jordan days. It's given everyone flashbacks. But what he's been able to do, I don't think it's talked about enough as a 22-year-old. And maybe later on this offseason, we'll get into our top players in the league because he's been one of those guys that's rising up the rankings. But also just want to give a huge shout out to Michael Porter Jr., man, because that guy's just a bucket from 3. Hand in his face. He don't care. He hit 4 3-pointers in Game 1. Hopefully we can contain him because, man, that dude's special. And he's a baller. And he was a baller in the Lakers series and crucial in bringing them back. So just want to give a huge shout out to him. But I think Game 1 for the Pacers Knicks starts tonight. Game 2, 10 p.m. Hopefully I can stay up and watch that. Might need a Red Bull or something, but so we can talk about that tomorrow. But should be interesting to talk about what happens.
Yep.
Is there anything else you want to add, or should we wait until tomorrow to give the rest of our thoughts?
One thing I did want to talk about a little bit more with the Celtics series, going back to the Celtics series, is that I don't think it's really talked about a whole lot how big it is, but the fact that Cavs Magic series went 7 gives Porzingis those few extra days of rest. So I feel like we could see him, if the series goes 5, 6, 7 games, he might be able to come back for one of those late games, which I think
I could definitely see him coming back. It's just I hope they don't rush it unless they're in serious trouble, because Porzingis is so injury prone at that 7 foot. I think he's 7 feet, something like that.
Yeah,
yeah, at that height, like injuries are a lot more like harder to come back from.
Yeah.
Just given like how long their legs are and
And
stuff.
just how big of a piece he is. Like if knock on wood, like if they ended up getting to the finals against a team like the Nuggets or like the Timberwolves, where you've got scoring big men on the other side, he needs to be able to keep up with them. Like we saw,
Yeah.
Joker kind of handled the Celtics both times he played them, and so we just need that counterpart to him on the offensive side of the ball, because I don't think he could really handle Jokic on the defensive side. I feel like Jokic would kind of have his way with Porzingis.
I would do like a Horford matchup there or something.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about.
They need to throw bodies at him. Just bring the double, or you can try and double team him, but he's so good at passing the ball, which is what makes it so hard to guard. Really the best player, and it's just he got the best personality. He doesn't even really care that much about basketball.
He's trying to get the year done with. He's trying to go back.
Exactly. He don't care. And even then he was making jokes after game one, even despite them losing, just kind of he said, like, how do you attack the Timberwolves big three? He said make a clone of himself. Just casual talk. They do call him the Joker for a reason. He is a jokester as well. So yeah, will be exciting to watch, and we'll probably in tomorrow's episode recap the games and maybe have another topic regarding the NBA. But with that being said, thank you everyone for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this kind of content, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.